Hey everybody, got another video here for you. Welcome to episode 1 of the barrel tuner build. Okay, so right quick, this is what it's all about. You probably heard me mention that these are on the way. They arrived, and so yeah, it's time for a barrel tuner X-6. This is going to be it's a rather special build actually. So a lot of things going on. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to run out of room here for guitars. Yeah, this is crazy, man. I haven't counted recently. I'm guessing 70 or 80. But I'm going to run out of room here, and it's not like I want to stop building them. So I think I'm going to start selling off some of my builds. Selling off some of these builds, or not these particularly, but selling some builds off. So if I'm going to build guitars as a hobby and sell off extras, then it becomes a question of, well, what should I be building? And I settled on two designs. This is the first one. It's a X13, and basically, yeah, the two designs I settled on, I'll try to keep this short, are a barrel tuner X6, which is what I'm going to build, and an X13. And on both of them, they'll have two humbuckers and full electronics. So like, and I'd like to try to do piezos on both types as well. So to have two splitable humbuckers and hopefully a piezo, have an on-off switch for each of the three pickups. You'd have a coil split for each of the two humbuckers, and it would have a phase switch for the bridge so that you could do phase between the bridge and the neck, and then it'd have the EQ. And same electronics on both the barrel tuner hardtail and the Steinberger tremolo. And as far as pickups, probably this in a passive, or yeah, whatever. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm probably going to take the original X13, which used to be the X12, which used to be the X4, version 3, version 2, version 1. Yeah, so I'm going to take that guitar and do the full electronic suite, and that'll be the prototype for the X13 that I'm going to produce for public consumption. I think that's what I'm tentatively planning. And this build, I'm going to do a barrel tuner version of the X6 tail tuner. And once again, it'll have the same electronics, twin splittable humbuckers and an EQ and all that kind of good stuff. And both guitars will have like the flat heel and the trapezoid neck and all that kind of good stuff too. The triangular heel and the flat heel. This one doesn't have it yet. And the swing bar and the minimalist bodies. All the bodies are pretty much going to look like well, the only difference really in the shape of the bodies, here we go. Yeah, that's the X13 body, and it's basically just a triangle with an extension here for your EQ and where your leg goes. And same idea with the barrel tuners. It'll have barrel tuners instead of this stuff, basically. So, yeah, upgrading the other one is going to get me a prototype for the tremolo Steinberger version. And what I'm building now is going to be the prototype for the X6 barrel tuner version. So when you're building one of these experimental guitars, stick guitars, minimalist guitars, whatever you want to call these things that I'm building. The thing that actually takes the most time is reshaping the neck. This is a Fender type 22 fret neck. Get off like any Fender guitar basically, or off of eBay, just as a standalone part. This I think came off a guitar. But yeah, it's like 4 hours to go from this to something like this. Not the headstock, just the neck itself. 4 hours to get to turn this into that. And that's using a power planer and a angle grinder. It still takes 4 hours. So I was thinking about the process of building guitars, and that's really that, and waiting for stuff to dry, paint and glue, is the biggest time consumer in building a guitar. Not that I'm in a rush or anything, but I mean, like, this deck took 4 hours, and I was pretty tired by the end. It's a lot of filing and stuff, so I'm not really, I guess you would say I'm looking to make the process easier. Not necessarily faster, but easier. So I've decided that I'm going to try building a jig. I'm going to build a, what are these things called? Technically speaking, it's going to be a neck thicknessing jig. So the part where I normally have to like plane it down, and you can get about this far with the power planer, and then I have to come along with the calipers and mic all the rest of it and file it down in order to get it all 20 mil thick the whole way. That part of the process, I was thinking that basically you make just a little router sled dedicated just for that one task, and it's just a little box kind of a thing that your router can sit in, go back and forth, and it has, you know, a couple holes cut out so you can slide a neck through it and just go like that, and 20 mil thick neck just like that. Because see, from there you can then lay out your spine, lay out your triangle, come in with the angle grinder, hog off the excess material where it's safe to come at it with an angle grinder, which is usually somewhere up to about here. And then you finish out the Shinto, and then probably cut a 4 hour process down to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, an hour to an hour and a half. You might be able to do it in an hour once you start with a 20 mil thick neck. So if you're using the angle grinder and the Shinto, you could get it from just plain down to 20 mil thick to ready for sanding, and you might be able to do it in an hour, and still taking your time, being careful. Might take an hour and a half. So yeah, so wherever I put that other neck. So this neck is actually the neck for the barrel tuner X-6, and this is actually the neck from the X5, which is no longer with us. It's been sacrificed to the great part spin in the sky, so to speak. Yeah, it was a mishmash of parts, and it was originally built just to test the V-bar concept, and other than that, it wasn't really anything. It was part Fender and part Gibson and things like that. It still had a headstock, so there was no real future for it, so to speak of. So anyway, so this is the neck that's going to be used for this X6 barrel tuner prototype thing, and as you can see, it hasn't gotten the 20 mil thick heel treatment yet. It's probably 20 mil everywhere else already pretty much, but it still has the thick heel. So it's going to be getting the flat heel, and so that's going to be what I'm going to test out this jig I'm going to build. That's what I'm going to test it out on. So yeah, here we go. So the basic idea for this thing is going to be like basically a box with no top or bottom, and then it's just got notches cut out on both sides, kind of a thing. And then you do 2 layers of plywood on these sides so that you can do kind of a step rail action like that. And then your router runs in here with the bit coming down there, and your neck comes through this way, and you set it all for 20 mil and just run it back and forth and run the neck back and forth. And that's the basic idea. So I figured out the number and size for the various bits, and it's time to get to cutting. Well, assuming this jig thing works, I saw a video on Texas Toast Guitars. Great channel, check it out. It's one of my recommended channels for learning guitar building. And they actually have a method where they use a jig and a roundover bit the roundover bit comes in from above, and then they just have a jig and it follows the jig and rounds over the back of the guitar neck. That's when it's they can do it fretted or unfretted, actually, so I recall. But that gave me the idea of for the trapezoid profile, that a 45 bevel blade or router bit would do same kind of thing for these necks that I'm trying to make here. So I've actually got a bigger one than this. This isn't quite big enough to do a neck all the way from the spine to the edge of the fingerboard. So, but I got a bigger one on the way, and if this first jig works out, I might give that a whirl. But getting it to line up so it cuts perfectly on the fingerboard might be problematic, so I don't know. Wait and see. Leaving a little extra space for the blade there. Always using the inside. I don't know why you're supposed to do that. And always using it on the same side. Okay, that's 2 outside rails marked out. So, change of plan here. Instead of having like two pieces like this to form my rail for the router to run in, and then having to cut out a square on both of them, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the inner pieces, and I'm going to take one of these and rip down a couple of 30 mil wide pieces and just use them as rails across the top. And my end pieces, I forgot to take into account the exact width of the router, and so these are a little bit too wide. I got to cut them down too. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this outer rail side, and I'm going to rip it down to make two like bolt-on rails. Well, I forgot to take into account the rather limited adjustment range of small hand trimmers. And so it turns out that the sled can only be about 40 mil tall, not 60. So I'm going to have to take it apart and run the sides and the ends through the saw again and trim them down from 60 to 40 mil. Well, maybe I should have taken 10 off the top and 10 off the bottom instead of 20 off the bottom, because this notch here it's not tall enough now. I'm going to have to bring it up to probably 30 millimeters tall. Should be able to clear a stock neck so that you can slide a neck underneath this. This right now, it's a good gauge for telling you where you're too thick, because right here at the end of an Ibanez replacement neck, I'm at 20 mil, and everything else, I'm at more than 20 mil. So yeah, I'm going to have to increase the size of these notches a bit. Now we give the man some fighting room. Survey says yes. Okay, time to put it together again for the third time. But third time's charm, right? So, oops, don't do that. Let's see, leg bone connected to the shin bone. Leg bone. Shin bone. Connected. Okay, I measured the height of the sled right here where the cutting action is, and subtracted 1 mil for the frets and 20 mil for the thickness that I'm shooting for on the neck, and took off 1 more mil just to be safe. We'll see how it goes, and set the router accordingly. And when you move it across, it's just hitting the neck enough that the neck spine goes in between these two blades, basically, and the edges just sort of touch them. So it's real close. I'm thinking that it's clocking in right here at like 21 millimeters and change. So I'm thinking this is going to take this portion down about a mil, and this should get the whole neck down to about 21, I'm thinking. So we'll see how it goes here. Wish me luck. I hope I don't carve through to the truss rod cavity. A little sip of beer for luck, and here we go. I've never done anything like this before. Never used a router sled, nothing like that. It's all new territory for me. Oh my God, I think it works. Oh my God, I think it works. Let's get a mic on that. There we go. Survey says, yeah, 20.16. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, I'd buy that for $1. Okay, here we go. In real time. Gotta be careful of that. Trying to dig in. Because I'm removing more material at once. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. So until the next one, everybody, have a good one.